There is a forgotten mental state, known for centuries, that can turn your brain into a limitless learning engine. And you almost certainly lost it as you grew up. Do you know the cruel trick your own mind plays on you? The more you believe you understand, the less you're actually able to absorb. But what if you could reclaim the learning velocity of a child? Not their time or their freedom, but their specific open state of mind. Today, I'll show you how one man, trapped in a life of quiet desperation, discovered a trio of ancient Japanese principles and used them to rebuild his reality from the ground up. This isn't about motivation hacks or speed reading. It's about a fundamental rewiring of how you approach knowing itself. Modern neuroscience is just now catching up to what Zen masters articulated 800 years ago. Your capacity to learn isn't fixed by age or talent, but by a specific, cultivatable mindset. The Japanese call the core of this shoshin the beginner's mind. And when paired with two other powerful frameworks, shuhari and do, it doesn't just help you pick up a language or an instrument. It unlocks a terrifyingly simple way to evolve continuously, ensuring you never hit a permanent plateau again. But here's the brutal truth most people never confront. You likely surrendered this ability in your mid-20s. Your brain didn't degrade. You just started building walls. You began muttering things like, "That's not for me," or "I'm past my prime," or the most lethal of all, "I already know how this works." These aren't statements of fact. They are prison sentences you chose to serve. Before we unfold the full story of how this transformation works, tell me below, what's one thing you've told yourself you're too old or not built for to learn? Your answer helps shape what we explore next. And if you're ready to challenge those walls, consider subscribing. Now, let's begin. Chapter 1. The Cage of Certainty. Matteo felt the vibration of the engine through the concrete floor before he heard it. Another day, another repair. At 34, he had spent 12 years in the same auto garage, his world defined by grease, exhaust fumes, and the relentless ticking of the labor clock. He was reliable. He showed up. He provided. But inside, a quiet war raged. He watched clients drive away in vehicles worth more than his annual salary. Entrepreneurs, engineers, architects. A single corrosive question looped in his mind. What did they have that I was born without? Matteo harbored silent ambitions. He dreamed of truly understanding automotive design, not just fixing its broken parts. He wanted to build a safety net so his family wouldn't flinch at an unexpected bill. He wanted to feel strong in his own body, to have stamina, not just survive the workday. Yet, every time a spark of possibility flickered, an internal narrator drowned it out with practiced certainty. You're in your 30s. Your chance to learn complex things has sailed. You barely got through school. Who are you kidding? This wasn't just his own voice. It was the echo of a society that glorifies the prodigy and pities the late bloomer. The message was clear. Learning has an expiration date, and his had passed. So, Matteo existed on a loop. Home, garage, garage, home. A life of reaction, not creation. He was surviving, but he had stopped evolving. Then, one ordinary Tuesday, the loop shattered. Chapter 2. The Breaking Point. It was supposed to be a calm evening. Matteo's wife, Lena, was organizing the garage attic, calling down for him to hand up another box. As he lifted it, a sharp, wrong twist in his lower back seized him. A white-hot pain shot down his leg. He crumpled, not to the ground, but into a helpless crouch, the box tumbling. The physical agony was one thing. The psychological shock was another. Here he was, a man who made his living with physical labor, utterly incapacitated by a simple, awkward lift. Lena helped him to the couch, worry etched on her face. The doctor's visit later that week confirmed a severe lumbar strain. The treatment plan meant weeks of restricted movement, physical therapy, and a bill that landed with the subtlety of a sledgehammer. Sitting in the dim kitchen that night, pain radiating up his spine, Matteo didn't cry over the money. He wept over the symbolism. He was one accident away from being unable to work. He had no reserve strength in his body and no reserve funds in his bank account. His entire existence was a fragile house of cards. That night, sleep didn't come. He stared at the ceiling, having the only honest conversation that mattered. This ends now, but how do you rebuild when you don't even have blueprints? Chapter 3. The False Dawn. The next morning, pain aside, Matteo was armed with a desperate resolution. He would change. He would learn, earn, and transform. He grabbed his phone and fell into the digital rabbit hole. How to make real money. Skills for the future. Transform your body after 30. The algorithm, that eager puppeteer, obliged. Within 48 hours, his digital world was a carnival of guaranteed success. He bought courses on day trading, on e-commerce, on dropshipping. He consumed content like a man starving, often paying with a credit card he couldn't afford to clear. He followed the steps from a finance guru, but the strategies required capital he didn't possess. He tried an online sales system, but made 0 sales in a month, burning his meager ad budget. Each failure wasn't just a setback, it was proof, screamed the internal narrator, of his own inadequacy. See? Told you. You don't have the mind for this. The pile of unused digital courses grew alongside his debt and his despair. He was consuming information, but he was learning nothing. Then, Lena, still nursing her own worry, placed a hand on his shoulder as he scrolled past another "Become a Millionaire" thumbnail. "Matteo," she said softly, "you're searching for a magic seed, but you haven't even tilled the soil." The metaphor stuck in his craw. What did that even mean? Frustrated, he almost swiped past a video with a stark, simple title. Why You Can't Learn, The Beginner's Mind Block. No screaming, no Lamborghinis. Just a calm figure and a serene thumbnail. Something in Matteo, exhausted by the hype, clicked. And in the next 18 minutes, the entire architecture of his understanding of learning was demolished. Chapter 4. The First Principle. Shoshin. The speaker discussed Zen philosophy not as abstract theory, but as an operating system for the brain. He quoted the master, "In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few." Matteo paused, replayed it. He felt a click deep in his psyche. The speaker continued, "Your primary obstacle isn't a lack of intelligence. It's an excess of preconceptions. You approach every new skill with a backpack full of conclusions about yourself. I'm bad at math. I'm uncoordinated. I'm too old. This backpack weighs a ton and you wonder why you can't run." Shoshin, the speaker explained, is the act of deliberately setting that backpack down. It is approaching any subject, whether it's quantum physics or how to cook an egg, as if for the very first time. No ego, no fear of looking foolish. Just pure observational curiosity. It's the reason a toddler who falls dozens of times never concludes, "I am bad at walking." They simply adjust and try again. The video illustrated the contrast. The average adult joins a coding workshop thinking, "This is going to be impossible. I failed computer class." Their mind is a closed door. Every error is a confirmation of their predetermined story. They quit. A child, or an adult with Shoshin, enters the same workshop with zero story. They see error not as failure, but as data. That input didn't work. Let me try a different one. Their mind is an open field. The speaker then asked a question that felt like a direct arrow to Matteo's heart. How much of your life have you spent not trying because you were already convinced you knew the outcome? Matteo sat back, stunned. He had never truly tried to learn. He had only ever attempted to execute while already believing he would fail. He didn't have a beginner's mind. He had a pre-defeated mind. But Shoshin was just the entry point. How do you progress without becoming rigid? The answer lay in a second concept, Shuhari. Chapter 5. The Path, Shuhari and Do. Shuhari maps the natural journey from novice to mastery, but in a way that protects the openness of Shoshin. Shu, obey. In this stage, you follow the form precisely. You find a legitimate source, a teacher, a proven method, and you replicate it without deviation. You don't innovate. You don't question the fundamentals. You absorb the discipline's DNA. You are a faithful copyist. Detach. Once the form is internalized, you begin to consciously break it. You experiment. You adapt the rules to your unique context. You understand the why behind the what, and you start to make it your own. Transcend. The rules are no longer external constraints. They are so deeply embodied that you move beyond them. Your practice becomes natural, fluid, and uniquely yours. You are no longer following a path, you are the path. And all of this exists within a grander concept. Do the way. This was the revelation. Learning isn't a project with a finish line. It is a path you walk forever. You don't arrive at knowing. You are in a constant state of becoming. The goal isn't to reach a destination, but to be perpetually on the journey. For Matteo, this reframed everything. He wasn't failing to become an engineer. He was simply not yet on the engineering path. The video ended not with a sales pitch, but with an invitation to a structured cohort focused on applying these principles. It required real investment. For the first time, instead of feeling desperate excitement, Matteo felt a profound clarity. This wasn't a shortcut, it was a map. He enrolled. Chapter 6. The Integration, Kaizen and Ikigai. The first mentorship session dismantled his remaining expectations. The mentor began not with tactics, but with a foundational interrogation. Why do you want to change your life? Matteo recited his list. More money, better health, security. The mentor shook his head. Those are outcomes. Why do you want those outcomes? After a long silence, the real answer surfaced. Because I never want to feel that helpless again. I want to look at my reflection and see someone capable, not trapped. I want my daughter to see a father who can overcome, not just endure. Good, the mentor said. That is the edge of your Ikigai, your reason for being. It's the intersection of what you value, what you can contribute, and what gives you purpose. Your why must be strong enough to pull you through the invisible phase. The invisible phase? Matteo asked. Kaizen, the mentor replied. Continuous incremental improvement, 1% better every day. He showed the math. People seek 100% improvements in a month and give up, but 1% daily, compounded, makes you 37 times better in a year. Not 365% better, 37 times better. The catch? You cannot perceive 1%. You won't feel smarter, stronger, or wealthier tomorrow. You must trust the system and detach from the need for daily validation. You commit to the process, not the daily prize. This was the practical engine. Kaizen, the 1% increments, fueled by Ikigai, his deep reason, and guided by Shoshin, the open mind. The question was, where to apply it? Chapter 7. The practice, walking the path. The mentor's instruction was simple, almost anticlimactic. Choose 3 domains. Apply Shu. Follow, don't invent. Matteo chose physicality, knowledge, finances. For his body, he asked a physiotherapist for a basic, foundational rehab and strength routine. He followed it exactly 3 times a week. No extra sessions, no improvisation. Pure Shu. For knowledge, he humbly enrolled in a free, online pre-engineering math course. It was material for teenagers. He swallowed his pride. Shoshin. He was a blank slate. For finances, he took a classic book on personal budgeting and applied its core system verbatim, tracking every dollar without judgment. The first month was a desert, no visible muscle growth. The math was frustrating. The budget felt constricting. But he remembered, Kaizen is invisible. Trust the process. Around week 7, he was in the gym. He went to lift a weight that had been his maximum. It moved easily. He added weight. It moved again. He hadn't felt the strength accumulating, but the evidence was now in his hands. In week 10, a math concept that seemed like hieroglyphics a month prior suddenly resolved into elegant clarity. His brain had been connecting dots in the background. By month 3, reviewing his spreadsheet, he saw it. A small but definitive surplus. No windfall, but a positive margin for the first time in a decade. This was the magic of Shu. By blindly following form, he had internalized principles. Now, he naturally entered Ha. He adjusted his training for his specific posture. He dove deeper into math topics related to automotive dynamics. He tailored the budget to his family's actual rhythms. He was no longer copying. He was adapting with understanding. He was on the path. Chapter 8. The emergence, from repair to creation. One afternoon at the garage, dismantling a complex European engine, a new thought emerged. It wasn't just a broken system to fix. It was a symphony of physics he was beginning to understand. What if he didn't just repair, but also enhanced? The local car enthusiast community craved custom, high-performance parts that were hard to find. He knew the problems. Could he learn to design the solutions? With Shoshin, he became a student again. He joined niche engineering forums and asked naive questions. He enrolled in a proper CAD software course, waking at 5 a.m. for an hour of study before work, his Kaizen hour. He started microscopically. He designed a simple, improved bracket for a popular classic car model. He had it fabricated locally. He sold 10 units in an online forum within a week. The profit was modest, but it was a proof of concept. He reinvested, designed another part, sold again. 8 months later, his side business generated income matching his mechanic's salary. More importantly, he was applying his learning in real time, each success funding the next lesson. He was in the Ha phase of his new craft. Adapting, experimenting, Lena saw the change. "This is the man I fell for," she told him, not the one who was hiding. 18 months after his back gave out, he faced the re-decision. He gave notice at the garage to run his own performance parts company full-time. His colleagues warned him of the risk. But Matteo wasn't making a reckless gamble. He was stepping more fully onto his path, his due. His purpose was clear, his method was proven, and his mind remained open. When you have that alignment, what looks like a risk to others feels like the only authentic step forward. Chapter 9. The Transcendence. Living in Re. 3 years from that painful night in the kitchen, Matteo's reality was unrecognizable. His company served clients nationwide. Financial security was a fact, not a dream. Physically, he was stronger and more resilient than in his 20s. He was halfway through a formal engineering degree, not for the credential, but for the love of the do. But the deepest change was invisible. Discipline was no longer an effort. It was his nature. Learning wasn't a scheduled task. It was his default state. He had transcended the rules. He lived in re. The practices were simply who he was. A young apprentice at his workshop once asked him, "How do you manage it all? The business, the studies, the family. Where do you find the energy?" Matteo smiled. "I used to think energy was the prerequisite. I discovered it's the result. When you stop fighting your own mind, when you trade certainty for curiosity, you unlock a different kind of fuel." He then shared the frameworks: Shoshin, Shuhari, Do, Kaizen, Ikigai. "So it's a mindset?" the apprentice asked. "It's an ecosystem," Matteo corrected. "Mindset is the soil. Kaizen is the daily watering. Ikigai is the sun. And Shuhari is the natural growth cycle of the plant, all on the endless path of do." You don't need more motivation. You need a better, more open system. This isn't just philosophy. Science backs it. Dr. Carol Dweck's research on fixed versus growth mindsets mirrors Shoshin versus a closed mind. Studies show that an adult's belief in their ability to learn is a far greater predictor of success than their age. Neuroscientist Dr. Andrew Huberman confirms, "Your brain retains neuroplasticity for life, but it only activates under specific conditions: focused attention, conscious struggle, and a willingness to be wrong." In essence, your hardware is always capable, but it needs the software of a beginner's mind to run new programs. Here lies the beautiful paradox of limitless learning. It requires the humility to admit you know nothing, paired with the unwavering confidence that you can understand anything. Humility plus confidence. How do you hold both? You stop trying to arrive at being an expert. You commit to being a permanent traveler on the path. The master is simply the most advanced beginner. So, let me ask you directly, where are you on your path? Are you right now in your own version of Matteo's garage, convinced your best learning years are behind you? Have you let your past attempts, or lack thereof, define your future capacity? Matteo's transformation didn't start with a miracle. It started with the demolition of his own certainties. He didn't find a secret. He surrendered his assumptions. He allowed himself to be a perpetual beginner. Let's crystallize the framework. Shoshin, the beginner's mind. Approach everything with open, judgment-free curiosity. Shuhari, the cycle of mastery. Follow, adapt, transcend. Do, the endless path. You never finish. You are always becoming. Kaizen, the 1% engine. Tiny, daily, invisible improvements that compound. Ikigai, the fuel, your deep, personal why that makes the journey meaningful. This is the architecture of endless evolution. It's not a life hack, it's a life philosophy. And when you internalize it, you don't just change what you can do, you change who you are capable of becoming. If this exploration of lifelong learning resonates with you, I have a request. First, give this video a like. It genuinely helps this channel, the inner dialogue, grow. And second, tell me in the comments, what is the first small shoe step you will take this week towards something you've wanted to learn? Let's build a community of perpetual beginners. For more insights into mastering your own mind, the next video on your screen explores a related concept. Remember, on the path of do, the only limit is the one you place on your own mind. Thank you for watching.